March 2025 Workforce Civically meeting, the very last one we'll ever have in this fine room after doing many years here. We can get more to that later. I'm Scott Girl, your current Civic League president, and I'm trying to think, we've got I guess Brenda, our secretary, is here. Gray, our treasurer, is here, and that might be, and Zach, at large board member, and I think that's if I know. Oh yeah, Erica. Right in front of me. Erica's our newsletter editor now. Yeah. And I know Aaron and Chris are out of town, and I'm actually in town this time, so this all works out. All right, I'm trying to, do we have any brand new faces that want to say hello or where you're from? You don't have to, but you can.
I'm Dave Hemingway. Yeah, I've lived here 22 years.
I know, I've seen your name many places. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
well, nice to put a face with it.
this is the first one I've ever come to.
Wow, how nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
this is it. This is where we've been meeting forever. And now we're going to change it all on you. So.
I want to find out what's going to happen to my JCC, or what we used to call it.
Yeah.
In the JCC.
All right. Well, I'll get us started with the Pledge of Allegiance then. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, officer, we'll let you share our police report with us.
Sure. All right, folks, since your last meeting on February 26th, 7600 block of Victory Drive, you had a larceny from auto. Window was broken with items taken. Same evening, 200 block of Birmingham Avenue, you had a larceny from auto with windows broken. 3-7, 600 block Burleigh, another larceny from auto. This vehicle was left unsecure with items taken. 3-7, 7600 block Cheryl Drive, you had aggravated assault. Apparently, the victim states that somebody's been coming jiggling their door handle and kind of like checking some of the apartments in the area. He chased this individual out into the street where he assaulted him. The suspect then turned and tried to attempt to stab the victim. This just brings up a good point of, call us, let us deal with that. In this case, though, we have a suspect vehicle and we have some people of interest. On 315, 7600 block Newport Avenue, larceny from auto. Window was broken, items taken. And same evening, 7600 block Newport Avenue, larceny from auto. Attempt. Window was broken, but nothing was taken. That's what you've had.
Questions? Concerns?
Going once.
Oh.
Yeah,
Do you have a number for like suspicious activity? Like I've seen, if you go out of this parking lot and make a left, right to the right before there's a school crossing sign, like before that and between that and the water, there's like this white car that's been sitting there at different hours.
In the evening time or?
I get off at 3 o'clock, so it could be,
Is it down in front of the apartments?
No, it's closer to the water.
Water, okay. Is it a 4-door sedan?
It's so white. I'm thinking, I tried to look, but not look because they can see where I live.
I'll give you my card, and then when you see it, you just text me and let me know.
Okay.
Does that work for you?
Yeah.
So just my cell's at the bottom.
Okay.
Just text me and let me know
Okay.
what it is or what, and what hours you're seeing it. And,
Okay.
We'll check it out for you.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Maybe it was discussed before, but that house in Burleigh Avenue that's in the corner, now I see that it's been shut.
It's boarded up, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what happened? Is it
I would have
empty
to
and
ask,
that's
see if
it?
it's scheduled for,
It's not scheduled for demolition or auction. It's just been boarded up per codes. And so the owner is now gonna have to make a decision about whether he wants to fix everything or just leave it boarded up or sell it.
Thank you.
He's only boarded up the bottom windows, so the top ones are falling apart.
Right,
Yeah.
that's all he's
As it
required
should
to
be.
do. All he's required to do is secure access from it.
He's boarded it up well. Yeah.
And then our officers, they've been spot checking that, and then the 200 block of West Silver Creek as well. For those back in there.
But they are allowed to leave it. There's an option the landlord has just to leave it boarded up.
Yep, we can't force him to do anything with it under state law.
Can we change that?
Secure.
Getting there. Okay.
Okay, well, thank you, sir. I will let you know
Thank you.
where we're at.
Sounds good to me.
All right. So our featured speaker tonight is Tori Lannetti, who I actually know from church, but she's the community engagement coordinator with Norfolk Public Library, and as hopefully many of you are aware, when this building is resurrected as a new city facility, there will be a library involved here. So we thought, let's find out what all the libraries do so we can get ready for all the excitement that'll be coming in a couple of years.
How many was that?
We're looking at a 2027,
That's pretty good.
but right now I believe it's still in the bidding process. So we haven't broke ground yet, but it's going to be really exciting. So I want to give you an overview of what the library does overall, and then a little bit about what we're expecting. So as Scott said, I am Tori Lannetti. We've known each other for quite a long time. I'm out of the Larchmont area, but I do actually live in the Woods Corner area. I live in the Talbot Park apartments over here. And I wanted to come out here, tell you about some of the things we have. We have 12 locations across Norfolk. The nearest ones to you are going to be the Lafayette Library, the Larchmont, and the Mary D. Pretlow Anchor Branch Library, all the way up at Ocean View. So we have a lot of different opportunities for you to come out. We also run a mobile delivery service that my office does. A lot of the senior living facilities around here aren't able to get to Lafayette. This is part of why I'm so excited about getting the new branch here. We have services that we haven't been able to provide seniors because they can't get all the way over there. So that's going to be a really amazing thing that we have going on. But right now I go to quite a few of the senior centers around here, provide books and DVDs and information about the library to homebound seniors. So of course we have books, ebooks, and audiobooks, all free with your library card. If you are a Hampton Roads resident, you are able to get a library card very easily. All you have to do is come into any of our locations, or if you see any of my staff out at outreaches, we can get you one that day. And that's going to give you access to both online resources and in person. So we have Hoopla, Libby, and quite a few other online services that can get you ebooks and audiobooks immediately, right at your fingertips, at your phone, your tablet, whatever you have. And we have movies. A lot of people don't realize that speaking of DVDs at the library, and with Redbox being defunct, this might be a really great way for you to get a library DVD for free. We have pretty much the newest ones about 6 months after they come out, and you can check them up to a full week. And here's some of our.
That was also on Hoopla, that you could do that?
You can get, yeah, so you can get those. It's still only a week on Hoopla. I wouldn't recommend getting movies on Hoopla because you have a really small amount of checkouts available currently. But we did get a Hoopla increase this year, so you can get, I believe, up to 8 checkouts at a time. And that's for a full month period, and then it renews every month.
Does that include all checkouts, the audiobooks, and the movies? So you're limited.
Yeah,
to
so you're yes.
Yeah, okay.
And that's really based off of the pricing model. So if you were to get it in person, when you're done, you can now get more. So the math would work out to more in person.
Yeah.
But I will say with mobile delivery, we override that system. So I have one lady that gets about 20 at a time. Well, so a lot of our seniors, because they're homebound, they don't have much going on. So we have a lady over at Suburban House, and that's all she does all day. She just watches movies. And I only come out once a month with the service, so I feel like 20 at a time works out for her. But she loves it. So if you know any seniors in the area, especially any that are at Suburban House, I think we go to Carrollwood Gardens, the Talbot. Oh, it's on our website. I'm sorry, I don't have them memorized right now. We do change them up pretty frequently. But if you know anybody, we absolutely can do that. And then here are some of our online resources, things like Ancestry Library Edition. We've got Gale resources, Universal Class, so you can get online classes for free. You can also get the New York Times for free, which is one of my favorite because it's behind a paywall right now, like a lot of other resources. So this is a really great way to just get it on your phone. All you have to do is go to our website, norfolkpubliclibrary.org, and you get a link that you then are going to use to set up your own account. And then you can use that as long as you have your login credentials. But we also have National Geographic Kids, Pronunciator, Transparent Languages, and then Hoopla and Libby. We also have an equipment library that many people are not aware of. Probably my favorite thing, and this is going to be the American Girl dolls at Van Wyck. I am very partial to them. They're quite a costly item, and it allows children to play and experience history. And you get to read the first book in the series. But we also have things like Chromebooks that you can check out in the library. We have guitars, telescopes. We have cleanup kits, especially at the Pretlow Library, that you can take out to the beach and clean up. We also have various STEM materials, nature backpacks. You can go to any state park, and you get to keep that for, I believe it's 3 weeks. I don't know, I have to check that. But you get free access into the parking at a state park, and then you get a lot of materials that you can use to look at bugs, identify flora and fauna. Then we have community sketchbooks. We also have 2 different maker studios, one at Pretlow and one at Slover. And there you can do things like go into a recording booth. The Pretlow one is really cool because the bequest that created it was by a patron who was a seamstress. So we have a lot of knitting and embroidery materials up there. And the one downtown also has a lot of musical instruments, like they have a theremin, in addition to some large format printing. We also have a ton of youth programs. You can do early literacy at any of our branches, things like Baby Garden, Kinder STEM, 1, 2, 3, Play With Me. We also have Tales to Tales, which is a program where kids can read to therapy dogs. That's really popular up at Pretlow, but I believe we also do it at Lafayette right now. And then we also have Build Bash and New Media and Teentober, which all are designed to get kids more interested in STEM. We have a ton of adult programs, technology, adult literacy classes, Career Online High School, which is if you were not able to get a high school degree for some reason, you can take online classes through this. We graduate about 20 people a year through this program, and it's all online. They don't have to come in person. We also have ESL classes at quite a few branches, Revive training, which is anti-narcotics training. And then Right Now, which is where you can actually have writers' workshops with the Muse Writers Center. This year, we're also going to have our summer reading program. I did want to let you know that this is not just for kids, it's also for adults too. You can win prizes, all sorts of fun things. All you have to do is log your reading minutes online. And we do things like face painting. We're going to have a lot of balloon animals, magic shows. We're going to have the Buffalo Soldiers at the Tucker Library, as well as a lot of petting zoos and programs for adults. And during this, we have a really great program called the Summer Food Program. We partner with Norfolk Public Schools, and all of our locations are going to offer free meals for kids ages birth to 17. And if you attend, you can get a book that you can take home for your own home library. It's not a library book. You get to take it. You get to keep it forever. And then, of course, we have a ton of volunteer and internship opportunities available at our locations, including the Sarge Memorial Collection and our service center. And on that note, I want to tell you a little about the library we're planning to have here. It's going to be one of our smaller libraries. It's not going to be an anchor branch, but it's going to have a lot of services geared towards all ages, especially seniors. We're going to have things for programming. We're going to have a bunch of different books. We really are wanting to listen to the community. So if you have any feedback about what you're looking for in the collection or in our programming, please let us know. I have let the library know that based on my experience with mobile delivery and formerly the bookmobile, we need more senior programming. We need more senior resources. This is very heavily a senior population, but we also have a ton of kids here. So please let me know if you have anything you would like the library to do or any questions.
Do you have any programs for hearing impacted people?
I don't believe we currently do, but that is something we can look into. Because Virginia Beach Public Library has such a strong hearing impaired and visual impaired collection, we don't necessarily, but that's something we can definitely look into. Is there anything you're particularly interested in?
No, I just know a few people who need help.
Okay, yeah.
The adult program to get the high school diploma.
Yeah.
Are there fees associated with that?
There are not fees for anybody who goes with our program. So we get scholarships for all of them. So it is a national program. So if you were to be with another library system, I wouldn't be able to assure you of that. But our adult services program gets scholarships for everybody that goes through ours.
And do they take into consideration how many years? I know someone that went 3 years to high school and didn't get the diploma.
The only consideration would be if you have a GED. This is not a GED program.
Oh, okay.
So if you have questions, I can give you my card, and I can also give you the information about the person in charge of the program,
Okay.
and she would be able to tell you more details. But I do know that I don't believe age is a factor unless you are still within a high school age, in which case we are not attempting to divert you from current public schooling. You do have to be outside of the high school age.
I think he's in his 30s.
Okay, I'll give you my card and then the information. Sarah Stalls, our adult programs coordinator, is in charge of it. Yes.
Can you tell us about regular citizens renting meeting space at the library?
Yes, except for 2 branches, Park Place and Lafayette. Every single branch has free meeting spaces. The Slover, because its meeting spaces do not belong to the library, it might be a different story, but all of ours are free. You just need to go to norfolklibrary.org. There's a whole section called Reserve a Meeting Space, and it will tell you when it's free and what you can do. We do have some regulations. You do have to be legitimately free and open to the public to reserve a meeting space, and then we do have some restrictions depending on the branch, but in general, it's completely free. All you have to do is reserve a time. And it does have to be during open hours, except for Pretlow, which has extended hours. They are regularly booked by civic leagues, and so they ask to be open past the library's closing time.
Okay. I'm having trouble finding a meeting space for a Sunday. Are there any
We have no libraries open on Sunday.
I am. Are there any in Norfolk that are open on Sunday?
You can check the police training facility up on Tidewater.
Okay. Yeah.
They may be open on a Sunday, but unfortunately, we do not currently have open branches on Sundays.
Did you used to?
We did.
Before.
We did, yes. I know Pretlow had Sunday hours. I'm trying to remember. Slover might have. But they were never particularly well attended hours. Surprisingly, we didn't have many people coming in on Sundays.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but I would check the police training facility. It's beautiful. They have a gorgeous meeting space. Yeah. All right, thank you so much.
I'll ask one question. How adaptable are these spaces? I mean, is it like Or how often do you change things? I mean, I feel like every time I walk into Slover, because I don't go in like all the time, like the whole ground floor is like looks different every time I go. I mean, is that normal
so
with, like a lot of libraries? I mean, it's like, oh, hey, we moved these books here and these things here, and are you constantly adapting?
No, I would say most of our branches don't have that kind. Slover is undergoing a sort of remodeling, and so Slover is a separate city department. So they are undergoing a remodeling in order to change up how their space is being used. But in general, our branches don't tend to. We might change, a small area like a playscape into something else, or we might take, what was formerly a programming room and make it a collaboration room or something. But in general, they're not. And the meeting rooms do not tend to change very much. Some of them are like this place. I know Pretlow's is actually quite similar to this with different walls. Some are much smaller areas. We have a lot of what we call collaboration rooms, which are kind of like small boardrooms, but they don't tend to change up too much. Yeah. We did change Park Place about a year ago, but I think that's the only one.
I don't know if everyone's been to the makerspace at Pretlow, but it's pretty impressive if you haven't been in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is very cool. And I think we have video games. We have fabric arts. We have a recording booth, multiple musical instruments, a 3D printer, and a photography studio.
I feel like you could record a whole album.
You absolutely could. There's a bass guitar, an acoustic guitar. There's, I think, drums, a keyboard. Yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff in there. All you need is a library card to use it, and you actually can book like an entire time for yourself if there's not a program in there. And there's somebody dedicated who will just teach you how to use the materials, which is pretty cool because some of them are pretty unusual things.
And there's a giant Lego table.
There is a giant Lego table. I will say almost all of our branches have Lego clubs. So you don't have to go to Pretlow for the Legos. Jordan Navy actually has a really cool collection. But some of them you can actually check out, take home, and do the Legos and bring them back. We also have puzzles.
Cool. More than just books.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. We are about lifelong learning, not just literacy.
Awesome. Thank you, Tori.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay. Let me see. We have multiple people I think they can give updates. Do you want to give any updates?
I could, if you
There.
want. You want to start with it?
I'm here as a citizen.
Well, I was here as a citizen walking. Right.
I mean, if you want to, yeah.
I don't mind at all.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, and also because there are faces that I have not seen or don't know. So I'm Jackie Glass. I'm your state representative. So the middle child of government. Most people tend to. I'm a middle child in real life and in government.
Yeah.
So most people tend to think about what happens at the federal, their senator and their congressman, or they think about their councilmen in school. They forget about us here. So I have been your representative, I think, for 2 years now. When redistricting happened is when the district sort of shifted over into this area. If you don't know, I think I've been back for 2 weeks from legislative session. So at the beginning of every year, we're up in Richmond doing the small part of the job, which is lawmaking. I was just telling Barbara here, most of our job is constituent services. So let me just put out here that if you are having any issues with the DMV, with the Employment Commission, everything in between, or any state regulated utility, meaning Dominion, Cox, Virginia Natural Gas, I am your direct liaison in between those things.
Careful what you offer.
Well, as a middle child, I thrive off of these things. To see me, notice me, don't you want to get to know me? I do feel like this role is severely underutilized in that sense. So if you're finding your cable is acting up for a week and you haven't call me. I didn't, and I came to get, I'm back on every 2 years, just like Congress, we are on the ballot. So I came, so if you see the little paper rolling around, it's just me saying, I just want your permission to get back on the ballot to run for reelection again. We are still in the legislative process. So even though I'm done up in Richmond on the big committee parts, I have to go back on April 2nd. Because during this in between time, the governor is acting on all of the legislation that went through. So I think the House put out of over almost 2,000 bills, 900 or so made it to the governor's desk, and he's got 4 choices, and we'll know all those choices by March 24th, and then I'll go vote on them in April 2nd. I should say with those choices, the governor can sign the bill, the governor can veto the bill, can do nothing, or can change it. And if he changes it or vetoes it, we have to vote on it. And there's a lot at stake. There's a lot of uncertainty for us at the state level, just sort of holding in our hands. I think everyone sort of knows what's happening nationally. We have a really great budget with really big investments in education, Medicare, like all really good things. And I sort of hold them right now because I just don't know what's going to happen. And I think even trickles down to the local level of sort of seeing that everybody's in budget season, determining how they're going to allocate things. And we just don't know what we're going to be working with. So if when we get back on April 2nd, there will be a town hall with myself and the rest of the elected state leaders, just sort of debriefing everyone. I believe it's supposed to be at City Hall. We don't have a date yet, but we will debrief you on all of the things that happen. I'm just like holding my breath with saying anything at this point because I just don't know. But what I found is I came to this work not because I like politics, but because I do love community. So tomorrow evening, from 6 to 8 at the 3rd Patrol, which she mentioned, Tori, nice to see you again, mentioned that facility. We're having a Hey Neighbor, Let's Talk. I think we're in a season where we just need to be better neighbors. We just need to be better neighbors, generally. We may be back on the barter system. I may actually ask you for a cup of sugar because I really need it. But we're just doing a Hey Neighbor conversation, just a state of where we are, what I'm holding in our hands, I know, and then for you to sort of ask those anxious questions if you have them. So right behind, what is it called? The Walmart on Tidewater Drive is the 3rd Patrol, or is it 2nd? I know things 2nd. There you go, 2nd. I keep saying that. Yeah, and it's 901 Ashbury. Just a community conversation. If you're not familiar with me, I promise I'm almost done. Every Thursday. Yes, sir.
I was just gonna wonder if you had a website or a newsletter.
Yes, sir.
Something like that.
That's exactly. Yes, sir.
We can sign up for. Okay.
Yes, sir. I want you to. So every Thursday I go live on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and I feel like there's another place. At 7:30 a.m. If you're not up at 7:30, that's okay. It lives on those spaces in Prosperity, just as a time if something's on your mind to sort of interface and just to give you an update of what I got going on. Most times it's just, hey, here's where we are, neighbors. You can reach out to me. I will get some cards from my car and grab them and hand them out. I have an email address. It's Del, D-E-L as in delegate, J Glass at house.virginia.gov. That's Del J Glass at house.virginia.gov. We have a website that is delegatejackieglass.com. You can sign up for our newsletter right there on the website. It just says, I call myself Jackie Glass Mama, Navy Vet Certified Doer, and the laced up legislator for the House of Delegates, 93rd District. So we say, let the doers get it done. So if you're a doer that wants to know about what's going on, you sign up for our newsletter there. We just started a new system that the state gave us to where we can reach out to every single registered voters in the district. I think we have about 56,000 registered voters. I just sent out like my first, and all of that is not, it just has to be official businessy sort of stuff. So if you have an email on file with your voter registration, you probably got something from me that said, hey, we're doing this Hey Neighbor, Let's Talk thing. And phone number, let me give you that. It's 757. This is the office phone number, 757-472-1293. That is because I have to have a really good team. I'm a citizen legislator, so I have to have another job because it doesn't pay the bills. However, my direct line is 757-472-1392. Okay, and we always do our best. So please use us. please don't. If you're having a hard time with that, oh, a reminder, if you plan on traveling and you haven't gotten a real ID, I think it's May 9th or 7th is the date. So that's a whole thing. Get your real ID. You gotta have your birth certificate. Ladies, if you got married and you changed your name, you gotta bring a reason. You gotta show your marriage certificate. That happened to me. A guy said the other day at a civic event, I had to show them my name change. I'm like, yes.
Plus like your gas bill or something.
Yeah.
Utility.
You know, something that says you're a resident.
Yep, a gas, utility. If you had a name change, the reason for the name change, the official document, you can use your current driver's license. And I think I brought my birth certificate as well. So if you're not sure, you can go to the DMV website and it'll tell you what works as the primary. So just to prepare yourself.
Yeah, or a passport.
Yep, passport works as well. But I say that because if you're trying to travel.
Get it now.
Yeah.
They're taking them right now. And they're processing. I got mine done in like about 3 weeks, which is mind blowing.
I know, I got mine in
Yes.
10 days. So
And
that's,
I'll say this, because they know how serious this is right now, they're processing you in the DMV fairly quickly. They put you in a separate line and get you ushered in and out because they know it's a dire need. But if you, yes, ma'am.
I was just gonna say, go online, do all the paperwork online, make an appointment and go in with your paperwork, with your documents in it.
I'll also say this because what Tori mentioned is that there's a high level of seniors here. I can always ask for DMV Connect to come out. I can ask for the mobile if there's a spot where you guys, hey, as a community, like, hey, can you bring the DMV out to right here out front? We can bring them out and do all the things. If you need to update your registration, whatever that is, but be able to do that.
Do children under 16 have to have one if they're flying?
If they're not required an ID to fly, then I don't think they need the real ID. But if you're, I don't know, I don't want to misquote, so I'll get your contact or look while we're sitting here to verify. I'm not sure. Did you know?
Well, I just thought if you're with your parent, you're under 18 and you're traveling with an adult, you don't need it.
Yeah, I don't, because they usually don't require that for folks under 18. But I because of the way of the world, I don't want to misspeak. I don't want to misspeak.
I only know because I went and looked all this up recently. That's the only reason why I know.
Good on you.
Because they could have changed.
Good on you. Get it done. Timeline. Can I do that and be done?
Yeah.
Timeline. Okay, so we're in the first quarter of the year. We're actually wrapping up the first quarter. Good job, guys. Look at us. We're 1 quarter done, 1/4 of the way through the year. Between April, May, and June is a time where I'm sort of getting myself together to start looking at legislation, what we're going to be doing for 2026, which during that time we'll have what I call summer school for certified doers, which means if you're not aware of this process, you can come and so if you sign up for the newsletter, we'll tell you all about, so it really is just like summer school to learn process, right? To how we do things. June, July, August, September, I'm actually building legislation. So if you guys if you have an idea or you have something like, I think one guy was like, hey, can you get the ABC license to look? And if it's an idea that we feel like we can pull together, the summertime is the best time to sort of ping in with the office, because in the third quarter of the year, that lets me take that idea that you have and work it with stakeholders, work it with different groups, and even go out to our council. Sometimes they have things. And then be ready, because if I try to make legislation October, November, December, and I'm going to Richmond in January, I'm up against it. And I want to give the things that come from the community particularly a good chance. So after summer school, we have what's called a policy pitch contest. We've had 6-year-olds pitch to have a different school lunch, but then we've also had some adults pitch a policy. It's almost like Shark Tank for your laws. It's an opportunity for you all to interact, and also we can learn from each other. So I believe in educate, advocate, celebrate, then legislate. I don't do those first 3. I don't do the last thing, legislate, without doing those first 3 really well. As you go up, you lose clarity. So I just ask you call me in before you call me out, because sometimes I just don't know. And I say that's okay until I do. And you may be the first person to tell me, which I'm ecstatic about, and you may be the 100th person to tell me, which I'm ecstatic about, because I need to know. So, yes, grateful, sir. Thank you for the show.
Awesome. Yeah. No, thank you.
Did you want to
I
say
don't know,
anything?
I mean, somebody has.
All right, well, I think, I'm realizing I think I told our school board rep to be here at 7:15, so I got about 5 minutes, I think, until respecting Sarah. But let me shift gears here real quick to the bylaw change. So I wasn't here last month, and I left our vote on the bylaws to my esteemed Vice President Chris, and he did a great job passing one of the 2 bylaw changes we're supposed to do. So I wanted to see if we could also, he did pick what was the one I was more concerned about, but I want to make sure I don't leave out the one that some others were. And that was this. So we put the bylaw change in about with correcting some dates and putting in term limits for officers, and then the other bit, if I can just find where I sent this, was the here we go. Was about it was just to add a real quick blurb in the finance section, Article 7 finance. It just says, right now it says the annual dues of the league shall be set by the board of directors and shall be per household, payable to the Board Corner Civic League. All we wanted to add as a board was the annual dues and any lifetime dues of the league shall be set by the board of directors, which just basically gave the board of directors at some future point in time the ability to charge lifetime dues instead of annual dues if they so choose. Let me see, is there any discussion needed?
I have a question.
Yep.
What, did they discuss what lifetime dues, how much that would be? Because that's a one-time payment.
Correct.
Right.
And if a lot of people do that, we may run out of cash. But
I'm going to turn to our treasurer in the back there
Yeah.
to perhaps give some thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think really what our civic league needs is more members. So, you know, I think the lifetime dues, if a couple people paid them, really what we need is a lot of our revenue has come in from ads in the newsletter. So, I mean, really, because those are done on an annual basis as well, but it's, you know, 10 times the amount of an individual paying for it. So I think we were just doing it more for the convenience of if somebody wanted to have, if we wanted to do lifetime dues that we could, but I don't think we're, that we would run out of money because of that. But we do need to figure out how to bring in more people. That's really our biggest problem.
The other part of the question was, did they discuss any about what those dues would be?
No, not yet. This is just giving us the ability to do it if we saw fit to do it. in the future.
We aren't actually right now even actively talking about doing it. This was more of a providing a future board the ability to do it if they so choose.
Well, I mean, I'm just a lot of things going around in my head. It would have to be low enough that people would want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But enough, you know, like $50, $60, $100, but then it wouldn't take long for that to.
Or it could be an age related one type thing.
Maybe.
And people always have the option of just paying $10 a year. So I mean, you could always just go back to that. So I think it's just giving us the opportunity. If we wanted to add it, we could. That's really all this is. The change.
No, I'm not concerned about how much the lifetime dues are. I'm concerned about people paying lifetime dues, the majority of the people, then there's no other funding coming in. And that's what happens to our treasury. That's the thing I'm concerned about. And I don't know if y'all discussed it, but what if, I mean, you know.
We'll make them $10,000.
Yeah.
Except for seniors. That's $10 a year for $100.
Yeah, I think I would think, Linda, in either case that the board should should be fiscally prudent, right? And make sure that they're doing what makes sense long term. And I think this was to try to give them the board the vehicle that they looked at and said, like, gosh, we can get to the same place with less paperwork, then we have that option.
But it brings in funds in the beginning
Correct.
And then you're gonna have to run on those. If- You know, that's what I was
Right.
concerned about, like,
Yeah.
what if we could go bankrupt?
There's probably an accountant type
Mm-hmm.
form on that stuff. But
Yeah.
you're sure. Good people do.
So like I said, the proposed change was just to say the annual dues and the additional is and any lifetime dues of the league shall be set by the board of directors and shall be per household. So yeah, it was just to put the option in there that it wasn't, that the dues could be something other than annual. That there could be a lifetime option. But yeah, I mean, the actual amount of the annual dues is not specified in the bylaws currently either.
So it's set by the board of directors and not approved by votes of the league?
Not currently, no.
Well, I would like to amend it to say it's approved by the vote of the civic league.
So it'd be, shall be set by the board of directors
And approved by a majority vote of the civic league.
and approved, okay. Set by the board of directors and approved by a majority vote of the civic league and shall be per household. Okay.
And I don't know if people
I
are
see.
going to accept that amendment or not. I haven't heard a call for vote, but
I say we just do I call for a vote on the original wording on it. See if it passes.
there's an amendment on the board, on the floor.
Oh boy, you guys are gonna make me work for my money here. Work for my volunteer gig.
Robert
Yeah.
rules out.
Correct. Yeah. Now I'm gonna have to remember how this goes. I mean, I believe we can hold a vote for either, right? There can be a motion to vote for. I don't know. We just have to be clear which one we're voting on.
Looking for rules of order, so if she made an amendment,
Yeah, we have
you
to.
can do a voice vote for approval of the amendment, right? So, so she's like, I move to amend this is blah, 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 to say this. And all those in favor say aye, all those opposed say nay. If that passes by a voice vote, then you go ahead and say, then you do an actual vote count, so we're voting on
Okay,
it
so this is
as
amend.
amended.
This is just to amend the motion.
To amend the, yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay. All right. So, thank you. See, man, I'm glad you showed up. Perfect. All right.
Somebody's gotta move in.
So somebody's make a motion for the amendment to the
Amend.
motion, or to the proposed change. We're not voting on changing the bylaws yet. This is just to amend the proposal on the floor.
We're voting on the amendment.
That whether the civic league members would vote to accept what the board recommends.
Yeah, so this would be this, so in addition to us adding any lifetime dues of the league, it say shall be set by the board of directors and approved by a majority vote of the civic league membership and shall be per household payable to the Ward's Corner Civic League.
It's been moved, somebody's gotta second it.
I second.
All right, any discussion on the amendment?
Sounds reasonable.
We'll move to a vote on the,
So you have to, all those favors say aye, and then all those opposed say nay. So this is.
right, that's what, this is the vote of the amendment.
Yeah.
Right, sorry.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
We shut up.
I probably started it the wrong way. Right, so this is to vote on the amendment to the proposal. So all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Any abstained? Well, that's it. Okay, so the amendment to the proposal carries. So the proposal on the table to vote on to change the bylaws is that the annual dues and any lifetime dues of the league shall be set by the board of directors and approved by a majority vote of the Civic League membership and shall be per household payable to the Ward's Corner Civic League. Right. Everyone get that? Do you reread it, or are we good?
Now you got it right.
Okay, all right. Now you can correct me, but I think because this was coming out of the board committee, we're at the discussion phase. Is that right?
Someone can move it, or you can ask for a call for discussion.
Okay, so is there any more? Well, that's what I'm saying. Do we need a motion if it came from the
You still
board
have
already?
to have a motion to
Okay.
approve it as amended.
Oh, I've approved as amended. Okay,
Question.
yes.
Do we have other aspects of the bylaws that designate a majority vote of the league? Is it by all members of the league, or is it by those present at a meeting where that is brought forward?
Who's our lawyer in the room?
I was a little late withdrawal, trying to piece my thoughts together.
This is a great question.
Well, I would accept that addition to my motion by the majority of those present.
No, this is
We can
good.
add those
Both of
present.
the
That
whole
makes
thing.
sense.
I'm just not sure you'd hear that from everybody.
No, well, this is true, right?
What's the expression? The road is run by people who show up.
Well, this is it. Yeah. Let me look at where like.
This might be saved by some statement that says the majority of those present at a meeting or something.
Oh, thank you. Do you need this to have on my contact?
I don't, that's a good point, that I don't know that we.
Maybe we should table this so y'all can address that issue and bring it back.
Yeah.
So let's do that. Okay, I like that. So we're gonna table this and go back and address the specific language, if that's okay, or do I need a motion to table? Might need that.
Not under Scott Tiller's rules. We're good.
Okay. All right. So if it's okay, unless there's any major objections here, the board will table this, we'll go back, get that piece cleaned up, and bring it back with the language that captures the idea that those present will vote and approve any changes that the board's making to the annual or lifetime dues. Sound good? Okay, I think I've used my words correctly. Okay. All right. Let's see. Unfortunately, I've not heard from Sarah. Not sure. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to mention is the actually, Meredith, do you want to say anything about this scholarship committee?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Go for it.
Scholarship committee met last week at Quads, and it was Aaron and I. And we would love to have more volunteers. We're looking to do a neighborhood yard sale to raise funds for the scholarship. And so people interested in having their name listed as participating in the yard sale would pay $10. So not a ton, there's no percentage of proceeds or anything like that, just $10, have your name listed on the list of addresses participating. And that's the idea so far. There's some additional things possibly coming up, like a raffle at one of the upcoming events, but that's the big thing in the works. We're thinking the weekend of Greek Fest, since there'll be lots of people coming through the neighborhood anyway. So take advantage of that. Hopefully it doesn't rain.
Where would it be held?
At your house
Oh,
individually.
okay.
Yep.
So community.
Like
Community.
a progressive yard sale.
Yeah. Yeah, at everybody's house.
Oh, I thought it was just one person's house.
The date, it's the,
Greek Fest is in May.
it is May, it's in the teens.
Needs to be before Memorial Day.
May 17th.
Yeah. And so if you didn't know, Greek Fest is in the spring again.
Mhm.
So back in May.
And we
Yeah,
need
thank you.
volunteers, so just let me know if you want to help with organizing and other additional events to help fundraise.
All to kick off a scholarship for our teens, right? Yeah.
Yep, we're thinking anybody who's going to college, so any learner, whether they're right out of high school or a returning an adult learner. So possibly, depending on the amount that we raise, possibly 2, a high school one and an adult learner scholarship. But
Okay. Very cool. Well, thank you, and definitely, if anyone else wants to help, I know they'd love to have you. So, thank you for taking that on. All right. So my my last thing here then is to talk about the plan for what happens after tonight. So the board has been chatting for a little while, and the plan now is to do 2 things over the next 2-ish years. We'll cross our fingers that contractors stay on schedule. One, so I guess just to recap for everyone. So we don't typically meet in July or August to begin with. So we're talking about 10 months out of the year to begin with. We're looking at trying to do alternating months between a meeting and like a social somewhere. So this will get us down to there'd be 5 meetings for the year in January, March, May, September, and November. The plan right now, at least, is to, so you know, let's go month by month. That'll be the easiest thing. So next month, April, would be a social month. So we will be going to Quads, since that's convenient and easy for this first foray into sort of regular social things. So we'll have a social at Quads next month with, how do we describe this? Heavy hors d'oeuvres for people who come. So bring yourself, all your neighbors, family members, all that to that. That'll be April 21st, I think, is the 3rd Monday.
yeah.
And then, yeah, so same time, 6:30 to 8 o'clock-ish at Quads. And then in May, I think the current plan is to go join up and have a joint meeting with the Talbot Park Civic League at Royster, which will actually be on a Wednesday in May. That may be subject to change, that piece of it. In June, there will be an ice cream social that we've done for the last couple of years. Should be at the North Shore Playground now that all the landscaping is done. And then in September, the plan is to do it the 3rd Monday, probably at Royster Presbyterian. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Royster is the one that you walk down, come out, go left down Newport, you pass Granby Elementary on your right, an open field parking lot, and then Royster's right there. It's the one with the steeple with the eagles that sit on top. And I learned today from their property manager that it's not just Mama and Papa, but I guess there's 2 juveniles actually, the boy and the girl. They said the girl's actually got a bigger wingspan than the mama now. But and the other tidbit is, so if you'll notice one of the juveniles, because they don't have the white head yet. I guess they don't get that till year 5, and they're about 3 or 4 right now. So, anyways, side story. All right. September, meet at Royster. October will be our fall festival. November, we'll be back at Royster again. Then December, we'll have our holiday social. And I guess it's the end of the year, which I think we're feeling comfortable about right this moment, just getting that far. And so hopefully we'll figure out if that meeting space is not working for us for some reason, then we can readjust and figure out a different plan. But I think that's the plan right now. We're trying to find somewhere that was easy and accommodating and not too far outside our confines.
I hope we can find a place with parking.
What?
They don't have a parking lot.
Should be okay up front. I mean,
That space, that open space should be parking. Be parking on Sunday.
on
Yeah.
the grass there?
Yes.
Some of that, or the street parking is pretty good there. I mean, Talbot Park has their civic league. meetings.
Talbot Park
About the same size.
does meetings.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, Talbot Park Baptist Church, 'cause I know they have like AA meetings and things like that. So
Yeah, they have a parking lot.
they might, I mean, they might
Yeah.
have rooms.
And Ascension does, and Blessed Sacrament does. All the other churches have a parking lot, so we don't have to park up the street.
Yeah.
Because on Sundays, what they do is they change that street to one way.
We've got Sinclair. You mean?
I don't know
I
the
think
name of the street.
not
but
Breckenridge, but
Right
next one.
south of it.
Yeah.
Talbot Park Civic League has their meetings there, and there's never a parking problem. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
They've been doing it for years and years. It'll be fine.
If we have a real hot topic issue.
Yeah.
we'll look at it.
Like a vote on an amendment.
Dude.
Right? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
They've historically charged a fee. Are they gonna charge us a fee, and do we have that in the budget?
Have they? Your property manager did mention that.
They did?
Did you call him back?
Okay.
Yeah, I was-
Call him back.
Yeah, I don't recall the amount, but I think they do have to pay a fee to use it. I'll check into that.
Okay. Let me go back, double check that. At any rate, I think the schedule of events is what we like, is what we're planning to do. The location may adjust as we figure out what's best for us. So we're actively figuring it out. So hopefully that makes sense enough right now. So we'll get this all published and out there too, make sure everyone knows where to go and plan. I'm hoping we can find somewhere that's at least consistent, so you don't have to, look and be, okay, where do we go this month for the Woods Corner secret meeting? All right, any questions or other announcements? Need to make?
Could you get a chance to sign the petition, please? I appreciate it.
Yeah. Right there in the middle? There we go. Okay, are these things that you brought, or Tori?
That's
Yes, they've got some library information as well as like a few little.
Okay, all right. So definitely, I mean, those are for us, right?
I figured they'd be festive.
I didn't want to, yeah.
One has a golden Easter egg.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, well, I think that'll wrap it up.
Do we have Martin's?
Martin said he's here as a citizen, and he didn't have any questions for me.
Unless y'all have something for me, I don't have a report.
I had a question about what's going on at the old Rite Aid building. You see dumpsters out there?
Yeah, so nothing is different from last month's update on that, and that is that for a while they had tried to release the building itself, and then the report I received about 3 weeks ago is that they were not successful in doing that, so they were considering taking the building down. But I haven't heard any final decision or anything like that.
Because I saw people in there working in the dumpster. On the auto side.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay,
Is it,
it wasn't the Rite Aid building.
Isn't My Mama's Kitchen moving there by off of Little Creek Road? It used to be a nursery over there.
Gardens in
Opposite
a flower
the,
pot.
yeah,
Gardens
opposite the
in a
shopping center there.
I haven't yet seen that.
I saw a sign over there. There was a nursery there, and then they closed that, and then
Right.
saw the sign for My Mama's Kitchen.
On near Roosevelt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was wondering about that, because there's like
Okay.
another eatery there where he used to be, there off East Ocean.
Wonderful.
Okay. So you learned something.
There are piles and piles of concrete over at the shopping center that they're taking down.
You want
They
some?
grind that up again. They grind that up again.
Like what the Target is, right? I mean, not Target,
Yeah,
where Kroger used to be.
Any news, nothing?
Nothing to report.
That means there's some sort of progress, so.
They keep digging.
There's certainly progress,
Yeah,
right?
they gotta,
Every time we drive by, there's some progress, which is the good news.
and this, the bridge expansion has been going good, so that's good.
How much longer is that gonna be, especially in the worst corner area?
HRBT.
If you go back and check, it's at least a year.
There was a 2026, 27.
Another year.
Just
At least
have my kid
another
be
year.
driving.
Well, here's a good thing. Can I
Yeah.
say this about HRBT? Because transportation's a huge deal in our area.
Yes.
Fingers crossed. I literally called the Secretary of Transportation today, is that if all goes well, we'll have a plan to not only expand the HRBT, but any what we like to call primary and secondary road, which is a huge deal for us. And I managed to finagle in the bill too, any road that has recurrent flooding or is susceptible to. I know. I know. So if I reach out, say, no, seriously, like, and it was a bill that I'm still fighting for. And we put in there to get ourselves as a region in a position where we can, I'm saying this lightly, buy back the downtown and midtown tunnels, right? So we can start buying a majority stake because they're coming up on a balloon payment. So like transportation wise, there can be some really transformational things happening outside. So even right after the HRBT gets done, we may start working on those arteries up into school, up into neighborhoods as well. It's an exciting thing. I don't know if you like transportation like that, but I do like transportation. I get excited. So we're in a good position as long as we got help. So if you guys, anybody has relationships with Mr. Shep Miller, that's our Secretary of Transportation, I'm gonna give him a gentle nudge to get this past the governor.
Our big issue here is the train, probably.
Yes.
Listen.
That's a hard one.
Well, let me give you, actually, I updated everyone on this, I think last month, but you weren't here, so I actually want to say it again to you, Jackie. So the Hampton Roads Transportation Planning Organization did do a study recently for the worst train crossings in all of Hampton Roads, and no one's surprised that the top 10 were Norfolk based, right? And the list is no surprise. Again, it's Terminal, it's Granby, it's Little Creek, it's Thole, et cetera. So the purpose of that study was to figure out where the worst is. Now, the next step is they're going to go looking for funding. So if you could watch out for that as the TPO and everybody else goes to both Richmond and Washington, whatever funding we can get to ease the congestion at these crossings, it's almost certainly going to help Norfolk.
So we meet on Thursdays. So this is something they should be talking. Is this new news?
Not new news.
Not new news?
At least 6 months old.
Okay, well,
What could possibly?
I've been talking about it since.
well, I'm saying the study.
Well, the study is new.
Okay, that's what I was
The study
saying.
is new. Yeah.
What are some options? Like an underpass or overpass or something?
No engineering has been done. It was simply where are the worst ones, and then, all right, now let's figure out how to start it.
It might just be a schedule.
There's no engineering or anything like that. That's way down the road.
Make them really fast.
Okay. Well, thanks, everybody. I don't know. Broke the walls for good luck or something on St. Patrick's Day. Way out. We'll let you know where we're meeting next.
Oh, yeah. Here.
End of an era, man.
Cool.
For these folks that didn't get a sign, if you could, please.